I'm Jack Nichols and welcome to Highlights Motorsport.
He's going to break his 6th world title.
For Mike Gosby! Oh, he's done it! And look at these two go! He's going to do it! His first victory!
The World Championship is done.
What a race it's been!
Hello and welcome to Silverstone for the 5th round of the 2024 Formula SimRacing Academy Championship, the British Grand Prix. 2 weeks ago in Singapore, the championship was turned on its head as Peter Knapp lost the points lead after being tagged into the wall by Davide Zanini, and Matthias Micke overheated his engine from pole position. Instead, Dano Brandtholm prevailed in a chaotic race to take his first win in Academy, putting the Super Swede back into the points lead. Cedric Bill took an unexpected first podium in second on a one-stop strategy, which launches the Frenchman into title contention. In third was Costas Gallinomatis, taking his first podium of the season and fending off Giuseppe Canzonieri and Lucas Viscott, both of whom made costly errors. I'm Edward Hunter, and alongside me is Ross Mcintyre. So, from a twisty, narrow street circuit to a fast, flowing, historic venue, the balance of power in this championship, Ross, has well and truly shifted. What should we expect here from Silverstone?
Well, hello, Ed. Pleasure, as always, to be alongside you and back here at FSR Academy as well. Silverstone, it needs no introduction. One of the world's greatest racing venues. And as you said, very fast, very flowing, but always chaotic racing. You've got that tight arena section at the start of the lap coming through Village, the Loop and an Aintree. Those two big long straights, the DRS zones, down into fast corners at Brooklands and Stowe. And then, of course, some of the best turns in the world down at Maggots and Beckett's. It's a circuit that will bring these FSR Academy cars to life, that will bring these drivers to life out there, and really does separate, you know, the kind of the middle of the pack from the top guys to be fast around it. You can see on your picture now, this is the 5th round of the Academy Championship out of 10. Following here, the 5th race of the year at Britain, we will be heading to San Marino, Turkey, Spa-Francorchamps, the United States, and then Japan in early August to round out the year. But as we reach the halfway mark, what a place to do it at Silverstone. As you said, though, Ed, of course, Peter Knapp losing the lead in the championship race. At the moment, he's currently 11 points behind Dano Brandtholm in P3, with Cedric Bell in P2. A crazy, crazy race last time out at Singapore, as it always is in sim racing in Singapore. Maybe this time we'll have a little bit less chaos because there's a bit more runoff. It's not just you make a mistake and find yourself with a one-way ticket into the barrier, but it's very fast, very flowing, very difficult to overtake ground here at Silverstone. And there's a lot of the overtaking zones, they narrow up and stop being overtaking zones very, very quickly. So there was some chaos last time out. Of course, we saw Peter Knapp not take any points. Also, Matheus Micke, Lucas Thylin, Ruben van der Hudding didn't take any points as well. Giuseppe Saracino, who won the opening race of the season back in Bahrain, he was a no-show. So we'll have to wait and see if he's going to come back here and maybe get some more points on the board after a single win and then 2 DNFs to his name. So only time will tell, but it's great to be here at Silverstone. As I said, one of the best venues for motor racing in the world, and it should be very, very exciting.
Indeed it should, Ross. So I have some very, very good news for Giuseppe Saracino fans. He is in action. Looks like he will be taking part in the qualifying session. I have some bad news for Davide, or alternatively for Peter Knapp, potentially good news. There's no Davide Zanini in attendance today. So that is good. But just looking at the rest of the championship, in 4th, we've got Giuseppe Canzonieri, who very nearly stole the win away from Dano Brandtholm before spinning right at the end of the race. Micke is 5th. He's had an up-and-down season, either retiring or finishing 2nd so far on 42 points. Then Thylin, who, of course, crashed into Van den Hudding in the pit lane. Massa, who placed 6th, one of his better races of the season. Costas Gallinomatis' first podium, he's in 8th on 28 points ahead of Van den Hudding. And then Saracino still holding on. Only race that he finished this season was the first one where he won. So Saracino desperately needs to get his championship back on track, but I think he might realistically at this phase, having missed 3 rounds in a row, I should say, with no points, he might be helping Go Team in the team stable more than anything at the moment.
Absolutely. Go Team, of course, a great first round for them. but unfortunately it's just not quite stacked up
Well,
over
that point
the
of view
next
as
few
well.
rounds. So we'll have to wait and see what they can do coming into this race. Of course, the halfway point of the season, qualifying is underway at the moment, and just as I say that, we're cutting over to that now, which is great to see. Currently on a terrace sitting, I say that, no time has actually been set yet. We've just got underway, 9 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. So if you are just joining us, do not panic. You've missed nothing. No lap time set in qualifying. We are currently following Giuseppe Canzanieri for Team GG. He's just coming out of Luffield and onto the old start finish straight. Now, this is one of the best sections of racetrack in the world. Coming through Cops, flat out through there in a modern Formula car. And now probably the most famous corners of this circuit. The left, then the right of Maggotts and Beckett's, then down a couple gears into the left once again, and then down into 5th or 4th gear, depending on your preference. Looks like Canzanieri leaving it in 6th, actually, as he heads through there, but it may very well be that he is on an outlap as he makes his way down the back stretch there, the hanger straight away, and into a big corner down at Stowe. There is your race winner from last time out, Daniel Brandthom, currently leading the championship charge as well, despite only being at 3 races. He didn't make an appearance at the 3rd round in Germany, the 2nd place in Bahrain, a 4th place in Australia, and a win in Singapore. Just goes to show what consistency can do for the Swede, who we're looking to continue to get some points on the board. But as I say that, a great slide, a great catch. He's decided to teleport back to the pits there immediately. So looks to abandon that lap straight away. Let's see what teammate Massimiliano Riboli can do, the Italian driver in the Italian Valle eSports car, making his way out of the loop through Aintree and now onto the Wellington straight. Down we go, flat out here, banging against the rev limiter or into the very tricky left-hander at Brooklands. Of course, this is a lot more open now since the circuit changed in 2011, and Brooklands or Luffield, should I even say, still a fantastic corner. That huge right-hander. You can take many, many lines through there, and that is something we will have to watch out for in this race, Ed, is the different types of lines you can take through some of the corners like Luffield, where you can maximize your corner speed or set yourself up for the straight. This is a circuit where driving styles and racing smart really, really comes into play and can really open up lots of different opportunities out there coming into the braking zones.
Indeed it can, but the man who seems to be going fastest on track at the moment is this man, the man who finished 3rd here last season behind Thomas Smith and Istvan Single, who both moved up to pro, and that is Giuseppe Saracino, of course, who, even though he's had a lot of bad luck in recent history, that his pace hasn't gone away as he crosses the line. What's the time going to be? This could be the benchmark that they've all got to beat, 1:29.1. Very, very good first time, about a second faster than Cedric Bild in 2nd, although that is quickly overcome by Canzanieri, Riboli, Ganlamartis, Luca Violin, and Van den Hudding, who all populate 2nd down through to 6th then. So Saracino really laying down at the gauntlet, 4/10 quicker than the next best driver, which is Oliver Terrace, of course, the British driver, joining Optiminal for this race. So it'll be interesting to see what Oliver can do at his home race, of course, having not a lot of FSR experience. I don't think he's done any races in FSR up to this point, if I remember correctly, Ross, as we look at Terry Crawford, who was commentating with me in pro at Singapore. Crossing the line, Terry goes 18th for SimSpark.
Yeah, good job there from Terry Crawford. Quickly demoted down to 19th. We've still got a few people who haven't set a lap yet as we're approaching the halfway point in this qualifying session. So there will be time for another run, of course. It's not all doom and gloom for those drivers who have not quite got out there and set a lap time. One of them is this man, Daniel Brandthom, championship leader, abandoned his first attempt as we were on board with him. The Swede, a lot cleaner through the first section this time. We know it's a lot cleaner because he hasn't already teleported back to the pit lane. Out of Luffield he comes and onto the old pit straight. One of the best places, if you ever get the opportunity to stand there in real life and watch some race cars from there, it is absolutely awesome watching them fly by, just meters from your face. Absolutely phenomenal stuff, and really, really clean stuff from Daniel Brandthom as well, making his way through Maggotts and Beckett's. That is super tidy. That Valle eSports car looks like it is on rails as it heads through those S's. Onto the back straight we go. Now just pray to the drag gods that the car has the straight line speed. Down a couple gears, hope the front end sticks coming through Stowe. You've got to really trust the front left tyre through there and not run out on to the exit curb, which is really, really brutal. The club chicane next and into the final corner. This looks a very, very tidy lap from the Swede. Comes to the line now. What's it going to be for Daniel Brantham? He's going to go into P7 there. 8/10 off of the pace of Saracino at the moment, who, quite frankly, looks to be in a league of his own in this qualifying session. But still time to play for. Must be said, though, Ed, it is a lovely, lovely day here at Silverstone, isn't it? I mean, I feel like my friend would refer to this as beer garden weather almost. Just the sun is out, no clouds in sight. It's a great day for British sports as well. Of course, we've got British touring cars over on at Donington. You've got football on elsewhere. There's the Uni Darts League final is on today as well. But this is the exclamation point. We're here at Silverstone and FSR. We've got 4 minutes left to go in qualifying. And boy, oh boy, the excitement is high.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that religion you were starting to set up there. You said Daniel Brantham should pray to the drag gods. I feel like that could be misinterpreted the other way, which is probably not what you meant. But there we go. Micah goes second fastest there, and he was, of course, on pole last time out of Singapore as well as in Australia. No wins yet for Mateusz Micah, but he has been in imperious form, especially in qualifying. He has been really lived up to his nickname of the Beast. He seemed to always put a great lap together as we cut to Van den Hudding, who's gone purple in the first sector, 24.8. So he is a tenth quicker than Micah and pretty much equal with Saracino then. Let's see if he can finish this lap in good fashion. 38.4 personal best in sector 2, but Van den Hudding, he might be looking for a place on the front row just behind Micah here, but this really shows the job that Taras has done as a rookie to really get in and amongst the front runners here, which is very impressive for Optim and all, but he's immediately displaced by Canzonieri, and now Van den Hudding comes towards the line.
Hey, what can Van der Hudding do? Purple first sector, green second sector. Ruben Van der Hudding goes into third, only a tenth away. But
and Taras has gone faster. Look at that. Just behind Saracino's time.
That's great time there. That's 700ths of a second away from the pole position time. You can see the track evolving, the lap times dropping all throughout the session as Andrea Mahosara goes into P19 there. 1.3 seconds off of the pace. Starting to get very, very tight at the top of the timing sheets here. Now we wait to see what Saracino can do. They will have time for one more effort. Those drivers who just completed their second lap. As I said, Saracino set that lap time fairly early doors in the session as we're on board with Chris Gitsov, who's currently in at P7. Looks like he's on an outlap at the moment. But yeah, so the track is evolving very, very fast. Saracino went from being 4/10 up the road to under a tenth of a second up the road. And there's 3 drivers at the front. Saracino, Taras, Van der Hudding, all very, very tight together. Bit of a gap back to Micah and Canzonieri behind. But again, they will still have one more opportunity to give it one last go, to leave it all on the table to try and secure that pole position in this Academy race here at Silverstone, the halfway point in the FSR Academy season, as we follow Championship leader Daniel Brantham, currently in P14. It's not been the best qualifying session for the Swede, who'll be disappointed with his efforts so far, and he will get another lap, but he's already on a flyer. So does he want to try and risk it again on the soft compounded tyres, which he may have pushed to the absolute limits? Look at the rear of the car, starting all over the place out of the club chicane, and he abandoned the lap at the death as well.
And that could be it for Daniel Brantham. 14th, he will go no better than that as Viscott there abandoning his lap for the LR team. But we also see Peter Knapp, our former championship leader. He seems to have jumped into Cedric Bill's car for some reason, which is very bizarre. But he is down in 17th behind Perseus Miram as well in the other Gothenburg GP car. So it is very, very topsy-turvy. It seems Cedric Bill and Peter Knapp have swapped cars, bizarrely, in terms of their car skins at least. So we'll have to remind ourselves it's Bill in Knapp's car and Knapp in Bill's car. So as we ride on with Riboli through Cops, and it looks... He's only one place ahead of Brantham then. So Valle, who started the session very strong, it's only really Van den Hudding and Gitsov that have got it together for the Italian team, isn't it? Saracino, he's gone into the pits now, 29 seconds to go. Unless Taras or Micah can put in a blinder here, he might have done enough to secure pole position.
Well, shades of Sebastian Vettel at Singapore years and years ago. Sets one lap, doesn't even bother trying to set another. He's left it on the table. What can Riboli do as he comes to the line? Hasn't set a lap in a little while, so plenty of time to improve. It's 2 personal best sectors as he brings it round the final corner. It will be the checkered flag for Massimiliano Riboli, and it is a slight improvement puts him P11. That's 6, nearly 7/10 of a second off of pole positions. That could well be where he finishes, but Luca Thylin also on a lap in P13. That could be a threat to the drivers in front as we see drivers starting to take the checkered flag. What can Thylin do? He brings around the final corner as a checkered flag waves. Oh, great lap from Luca Thylin. My goodness me. Into second ahead of Taras, who is on a lap but didn't improve in the first sector. Where has that come from? From Luca Thylin. Phenomenal stuff to slide onto the front of the grid. Master comes to the line now. Can he improve? No, he can't. He stays P9. Jalon Martis also comes round to the line. He goes and slots into P7. Was Canzonieri down in the middle sector, but up on his personal best. And first, Taras has got a session best in the second sector. It's all to play for here, Ed Hunter, late in this qualifying session.
Oh, we're on full name basis now, yes. But there we go. Oliver Taras absolutely pushing us. We look at Canzonieri coming towards the line. Can he get onto the second or third row? He just stays in sixth position. Then here is Micah. Can he get himself in a better position than fifth? Looks like Taras has had to abandon his lap, sadly. Micah will start the race from fifth position. There we go. But Optiminal, second and third. And you could tell Luca Thylin didn't want that upstart, Oliver Taras, to outshine him. So he beats him by 9 thousandths of a second there. But neither of them doing quite enough to beat this man, Giuseppe Saracino. So the Italian back on top as he was at the very start of this season. So let's take a look then at the grid order. This isn't practice, of course. This is qualifying that we've just finished in. So Giuseppe Saracino, after 3 non-scores and 1 missed race, finally gets back onto pole position then with a time of 1:29.163. That, as Ross said earlier, he set at the very beginning of the session and then didn't need to beat it because nobody could quite match or eclipse it. Luca Thylin will start alongside him in the front row for Optimal. That's his best qualifying of the season, just ahead of rookie Oliver Taras. So very impressive performances from the 2 Optimal cars. In 4th position will be Ruben van den Hudding for Valet eSports. Then in 5th, it is Mateus Micah for Hyperion eSports, ahead of Giuseppe Canzonieri for Team GG in 6th. 7th was Kostas Gallinamatis in the NetRex. 8th was Gresiak Luksak for Go Team. In 9th was Krit Skitsov for Valet, just 3 thousandths behind Luksak, and behind him by only 2 thousandths was Nandor Marsa, who rounds out the top 10 for Ground Effect SimRacing. In 11th was Luca Viscott for the LR Conquest team. In 12th was Massimiliano Riboli in the Valet. 13th was Cedric Bill in the Gothenburg GP car, of course, fresh off his first podium. Dano Brandfom, championship leader, who finished just ahead of Bill, qualifies just behind him in 14th. So disappointment for Danove. In 15th, it's Domenico Scarpelli. In 16th, it's Peter Knapp, our former championship leader. 17th is Perseus Mirim. 18th is Hayden Calnan for SimSpark. Thomas Andrea Marizoa, the Madagascan, will start in 19th, as we finally see the top 10 from earlier. And here is your top 20. Rounding out the top 20, of course, is Andrei Brotowski, team owner of LR Conquest, but 1.4 seconds off the pace. 21st, Josh Hughes, a newcomer, making his debut here at Silverstone for SimSpark, the British driver. Oliver Demolians, in his second appearance for Optimal, qualifies 22nd, just ahead of West Social Club LR's Michael Dela Cruz. Arco Hollistel has qualified 24th. Dylan Allen will start 25th, and Terry Crawford will bring up the rear, the time at 3.2 seconds off the pace. So not a spectacular qualifying, but we also see Mihailo Vincentovic, who I believe had to miss qualifying, is going to join. So we will have 27 cars at least making the start here at Silverstone. And unfortunately, we seem to have lost Ross. I'm going to see if I can drag him in, maybe. Ross, are you there?
Hello, I somehow got kicked out of my own commentary box. That was an interesting one, and then it wouldn't let me back in, but I am here. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it totally wasn't me being jealous that you got to do all the talking.
No, I went on some big spiel as well about what an amazing qualifying session we've just seen, and then realised that I was just talking to a brick wall. So there we are. I'm sure you've gone over all of
no
what's
way to
just
talk
happened.
about Roberto Pinataro.
I'm sure that you've just gone over all of what's happened, but I was just going to say, my oh my, what a qualifying session that was. The top 3, less than a tenth of a second between them. We could have an incredible race in our hands, but of course, now it is about the race. We're just in the warm-up session at the moment. That'll go on for just a brief moment longer, and then of course, formation lap, 5 red lights, we all know the deal. But we've got to start thinking, the drivers now got to focus in on the race. It's one thing to be fast in qualifying, it's another thing to be fast over a long distance. And there's strategy that comes into play as well. Do you go 1 stop on a harder set of tyres? You go 2 stop and try and run faster around on track? But with those 3 so close together, especially looking at Lucas Stylen with that lap of the gods right at the death to slot onto the front row of the grid, I think we have got an absolute classic on our hands here.
I think we do, and the interesting thing is, Micah is our highest, the sort of championship contenders in the sort of near the front, and he's only 5th on the grid, and he is about 5th in the championship, so he's on 42 points, so he's 19 behind Dano Brandfolm then, and Brandfolm himself starts 14th, just behind Cedric Bill, who's 2nd in the championship, 10 points behind, just under 10 points behind him. So it's difficult to see. Last season we got so used to Thomas Smith with some brilliant performances just running away with the championship, but this season in Academy it is still absolutely wide open. Even Saracino on 25 points down in 10th could run away with this one, get himself to 50 points in total, and maybe start an amazing fight back. You never know. Especially with so many, I don't want to say unfancied runners, but certainly some wild cards thrown in there, like Filin, who himself is in 6th in the championship, 36 points. He was so disappointed after what happened with Van den Hudding, who starts right behind him in the pits at Singapore, where they both essentially shared the same grid spot. And I think Filin tried to actually repair the car, and unfortunately blew the engine in the process, despite losing. It was a chaotic moment in the pits, but let's hope we don't see any more shared pit boxes at Silverstone. A little bit more space and lower speed limit as well, I think, will probably help in terms of avoiding too many costly collisions. But certainly surviving this first lap has got to be the focus for all of these drivers now, because we've seen so many big collisions into especially turn 1 is pretty fast. Cops as well, infamously, as you know from Formula 1, can be the source of some big collisions where the man on the inside or outside refuses to give way to the driver alongside them, and it ends in tears. So I think we're certainly going to see a couple of tears. I'd be very surprised if we didn't, because it is Academy, Ross. But yeah, it's difficult to see where the challenge to I think the Optimal guys, as strong as they look, I think potentially Saracino might be able to control this thing from the front, and it might be a big race for second.
Well, only time will tell, and time, or said time anyway, is soon to be upon us. The warm-up has ended. But yeah, it could be a very interesting first lap anyway. Obviously, it's a lot easier when you're going from the front. You've got less cars around you, but especially that first section, it's very, very awkward on the opening lap here at Silverstone. You know, you're looking at Abbey and Farm, 2 typically very high-speed corners, but when you're starting where you are on the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight, it's awkward how slow they are, and you can get a lot of people trying to fly in there because you're not at full pace. The tyres are still cold, so everyone's just trying to gain positions, and then hard braking into Village as well on cold brakes. A very tight, twisty section going into the loop. The first lap here could be very interesting, we'll say that much. And again, you've got to think as well, this is sim racing. A lot of guys out there will be racing on single monitors. They won't be able to fully see either side of them. And sometimes they may just be unsighted. And that's, of course, no fault of their own. It's what you can see with what you have on your sim rig at home. But we'll just have to wait and see how it's all going to kick off. For me, though, I think this race, if it's not decided on pace, if you're thinking the Optimal guys aren't quite going to be on the pace of Saracino, it's definitely going to come down to strategy. According to our live timing, track temperature currently sitting at 35 degrees. That is quite warm for Silverstone. And Silverstone is a track that loves to chew up tyres as it is. So it could very well be more a strategic race of just trying to manage the tyres. You know, you're happy to maybe give up a position or 2 as we get underway on our formation lap and just see how it all unfolds in the race, Ed.
Indeed. So here is the order once more. Giuseppe Saracino and Luca Filin fill the front row, with Oliver Tarras and Ruben van den Hudding occupying row 2. Row 3, Matthias Micah and Giuseppe Canzonieri starting alongside for Team GG. Row 4 is occupied by Kostas Galamatis and Gresiek Luksak for Go Team. Row 5 is Chris Gitsov alongside Nandor Master in the Grand Effect. Then on row 6 is Lucas Viscott and Massimiliano Riboli in the Valley eSports machine. Row 7, Cedric Bill and Dan O'Brien from our 2 championship leaders. Then on row 8, it's Domenico Scarpelli in his second appearance ahead of Peter Knapp. Row 9, Perseus Miram and Hayden Cowland alongside him in the Full Send Motorsports car. Then on row 10, it's Thomas Andriam Harizoa and Andrei Boratovsky. Row 11 is formed by Josh Hughes and Olivier Demoliens. Michael Dela Cruz and Arco Hollistel occupy row 12. Dylan Allen and Terry Crawford are the drivers on row 13. Then in our final position on the grid, the man who missed qualifying, Mihailo Vincentovic, will be looking to make progress. He's not appeared too many times this season, Vincentovic. 23rd in the points, best finish of 11th in Australia.
Well then, that looks like our grid as we come down the back end of the formation lap. And there we see our pole sitter, the man who won the first race out, Giuseppe Saracino. What is running through the Italian's mind at this point in time? Nervousness maybe, excitement certainly, but sheer focus as well. As this point, it's, you know, just about locking in almost and just getting that focus on the lights and the race start. And then it's 37 laps around here at Silverstone. Ed, I'm not sure about you. I feel like my money is probably going to be on Saracino, but I think you've got to watch the likes of Thailand, Tares, Van der Hudding as well. They're all there. Canzonieri, we know how strong he is in the race. It could be all open. It could be anyone. It's going to be exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, Micah is the man I would certainly be watching for because he is, I think, got some really, really good pace. Taras apparently binned it on his final lap in qualifying. Remember, and he was purple in the middle sector, so he certainly feels like he's got a little something to prove. But I think Optiminal, the last thing they want is for both of their drivers to take each other out on the first lap. Let's hope that doesn't happen. As Vincentovic slots in at the rear of the field and Saracino gets ready to hopefully, you know, from his perspective, lead the pack away as the light's about to come on. Right, here we go then. The light sequence has begun. Saracino on the right, Filin on the left. The British Grand Prix will get underway now. And it looks like a clean... Oh, a bit of wheel spin from Saracino. So it's Luca Filin that will get to the first corner first. Can everyone get through cleanly? A little bit of side-by-side action, but it is Saracino that drops the second. And now he's got to hold off Van den Hudding. And it looks like Canzonieri is starting to attack us. Oh, that looks like Saracino going completely off track there. And he's now down to third behind Van den Hudding. So not the greatest start for our pole sitter, Ross.
No, disappointing start there for Saracino as we fly down the first long straightaway. On board with Van der Hudding, decides not to make a lunge down into Brooklands, playing it smart early doors. There was lots of people running wide, lots of people getting disappointing starts. Gallon Artist got a lightning launch away at the lights, but just got boxed in, couldn't quite find a way further up. He's managed to slot into P6, but it is Thailand that leads from Van der Hudding, from Saracino, your top three. Now flying into Copse Corner, looks like everyone's already settling into a bit of a rhythm. Someone going very wide further up the road as we were on board with the Valet eSports car of Chris Gitsov there. And as we fly through Maggots and Beckett's, try not to get too caught up in the dirty air. Van der Hudding maybe already under attack from Saracino after he ran wide, heading up through Village, should I say. Down the backside.
Look at this. Is that Micah round the outside of Saracino?
Where did he come from? Trying to go around the outside. It's no, they touch. Round goes the pole sitter. Oh my goodness me. Micah wide. Saracino round. We have drama on the opening lap at Stowe. And as the race directors were saying in the pre-race briefing, you've got to be careful into that corner. And on lap one, Ed, it's happened immediately. And it's happened to the pole sitter, Micah. And again, maybe was that there.
Oh dear, I think that might have been our Full Send Motorsport car being a little bit too full. I think that might have been, oh dear, we see Terry Crawford dropping down the order and Dylan Allen as well. So I think it might have been Calnan we saw just going a bit wide there. But yeah, Saracino. Oh, and it's Saracino off again at the Valoop. Oh, this is the first two laps from absolute hell for the Italian. Oh my goodness me. The rears just look absolutely destroyed.
Action here. He's still struggling. Just Saracino. Well, I mean, I don't want to say 0 to 0, but it feels like something like that, doesn't it? Just struggling there as he just comes through. Here's a replay of the initial incident. There was a little bit of contact. Just tried to squeeze two into one, and it didn't go, and Saracino ended up on the wrong end of it. That's already going to have caused chaos for his tyres. Just making them warmer than a Sunday roast in the evening. And then as he came back through once again, here's Dylan Allen. What's happened here? I believe he may have been the one that went round coming through club corner.
No, he
took
tapped to the rear.
Punt to the rear, yeah. So Dylan Allen having major issues. And just crazy scenes early on here at Silverstone. Here's Terry Crawford. I believe he also... Oh, Terry Crawford just missed the braking zone ever so slightly. Ran out of front wing. So that's why he was dropping. There was someone else in front as well that went around at club corner. Here's Terry Crawford again coming through Maggots and Beckett's. What happened on this occasion?
That was just him going back to the pits, Ross. But yeah, Saracino, I think, has gone into the pits potentially to retire from the race as well. So that is such disappointment. But meanwhile, Van den Hudding has snatched the lead away from Luca Filin. Taras has also got back past Micah into third. So Optinol up with one driver, but losing the lead with Luca Filin then. So Van den Hudding, that's probably the last thing he expected when he got up today, to leading the British Grand Prix in Academy. So that is great news for Valley. Second race in a row where they've got a car in the lead. Brandfarm has also had a pretty clean start, up to 9th now, ahead of Nandor Marsa from 14th on the grid there.
Well, as a great man once said, anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. And my, oh my, we've had anything and everything happen over the opening 3 laps. Van den Hudding leads from Thailand from Towers in P3, on board with the leader's teammate Brantham up the inside into Cobb's corner. Oh, goodness me, he decided to back out of it there. But that was brave. We've seen moves like that definitely not pay off before. We've also seen them very much pay off. Looks like Brantham just at this stage of the race not feeling quite brave enough, but it was still very gutsy to have a look to the inside. But Valley eSports, their top 2 drivers, well, the top 3 as well. Raboli had a bit of a disappointing start, but also looking quick. The Italian squad looking very fast early doors. Micah looked to the inside of Thailand, coming into club. Decided against it as well, but he's just trying to fill the mirrors of the driver in front, trying to see if he can maybe force a mistake, put some pressure on the optimal driver who's currently running in the podium places as we begin our 4th lap. Van der Hudding, meanwhile, he's trying to check out the front, 1.6 seconds ahead of anybody else up the front of the pack. Taras in P2, Thailand in P3. Micah right now looks to be the big mover. He's the one trying to make something happen. He is the one trying to do things. Last lap, Van der Hudding set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:33.425. That was
and here comes Micah,
faster than everyone else as Micah looked to the inside there into Brooklands, unable to find a way through. Now through Luffield, does he get the run out? No, not quite. Bit of a wobble on the exit and another big one as he just catches the curb a little bit wrong. Micah though, Ed, looking really fast early doors.
He does, but Optiminal have swapped their drivers around. You know, Filin was leading, got passed by Van den Hudding. Optiminal seems to have done a swap with Oliver Taras as we see Marsa and Luxak going side by side at Cops, and Marsa has to concede, has to let the Go Team driver through. But meanwhile, Brandfarm being stuck behind Viscott is actually quite crucial because Viscott is the highest of the hard tyre runners. Everyone else around them is on the mediums then. Marsa, another of our hard tyre runners as well, so that's probably why he's got a little bit of a deficit to the medium rounds. And now Brandfarm uses DRS to go all the way around the outside of Viscott. Crucial move if he can pull it off, and they come together, and that's our championship leader round at Stowe.
Once again, Stowe, as always, it's just causing chaos. Brantham goes round. Unbelievable. Oh, goodness me. It's been 5 laps and there's already a full highlight reel that we've had here in FSR Academy, but that's what FSR Academy does. Oh, someone else is on. Oh, no,
Marsa.
no. Oh, my goodness
big crash.
Huge accident at the back of the field. I'm not sure who that was rejoining.
It was Andrew Harizoa and Viscott, I think they hit him.
Oh, my goodness me. A huge accident and many races ruined in a blink of an eye. Crawford, I cannot believe what I've just seen. I mean, obviously you're blind trying to rejoin there, but it's a difficult corner to try and rejoin. Yeah, it was Viscott. Oh, goodness me.
That was Marsa, he hit there, and then you saw the Go Team of Andrew Harizoa just caught up as a sort of innocent bystander as well, like Viscott, just turning up to the scene. And I think I agree, not the best rejoin from Marsa there. Maybe he should have waited, got the car straight rather than going side on at onto the racing line there. There's probably a little bit of panic from the ground effect driver there.
Maybe. But, man, that's just a shame to see. It's been 5 laps, or we've had 4 retirements in Saracino, Crawford, Master, and Biscott. And a lot of others getting into chaos as well. But here's a driver on the move. Canzonieri down the inside. Move done even before we get to Stowe. Lovely move from the Team GG driver there on Gallon and Martis. Up the inside. Easy as you like. Page 1. Textbook stuff. That's so effective at the same time. Meanwhile, Micah still putting the pressure on Thailand. Although just gap has opened up a little bit. Towers has managed to pull away from Thailand, which is not going to help the man currently in 3rd place because he's outside of DRS from his teammate now. So he's going to have to face the full brunt of the attack from the Hyperion eSports car behind as we come onto the hangar straight. What can Micah do? Looks like maybe not enough. It wasn't a particularly strong run heading out of there. So as they get to the end of the Wellington straight and into Brooklands, Micah, maybe he decided to turn it back a bit. He's not looking as aggressive as he was a few moments ago. So maybe he's just decided to settle into his rhythm, follow Thailand, let the race unfold. As Daniel Brantham back on board with him after his incident earlier on. Currently P14 in the wake of Boratovsky and Perseus Miram in front. He'll be looking to try and chop his way through them as quickly as possible. But coming up to probably the worst part of the circuit to do it on, coming through Cops and then Maggots and Beckett's not really an overtaking opportunity unless you really pull some magic out of the hat. Looked like he was getting a little bit closer there to Perseus Miram in front, but decided against it. Miram as well, a little bit of a wobble there from the car in front. Maybe just a little bit unstable. Oh, that's really wide from Micah. Bouncing over the curbs at Stowe. Lucky not to have the car really unsettled through there. Going back to Brantham though. Looks like actually Miram might be trying to fight Boratovsky. Miram's very wide though. This could open the door for the Valley Esports driver. Miram defensive to the inside. And unfortunately for Brantham, the defensive move worked. At the moment, Ed, he just cannot find his way through the Gothenburg GP car.
Yeah, you can see how bad some of Miram's exits are, so he's trying to get defensive to fight Brantham. If anything, to help Cedric Bill, his teammate, who's up into 8th now, the man 2nd in the championship. But interesting things happening. So the lap before this one, Taras was half a second quicker than Van den Hudding. Now Van den Hudding's upped his pace. They're both lapping in the 1:34.4s. Micah, Canzonieri getting past Gallon Martis is really bad for Micah because that means Canzonieri is potentially, while he's being held up by Filing, could catch up to him. And that's making it a freeway battle when he'd rather have Luca Filen that final spot on the podium all to himself, essentially, Micah. So, it's another bad run from Luxak. That's really good news for Nap then, who's worked his way through the chaos up to P10. And surely these Go Team drivers, there we go, Luxak, his teammate, letting him through then. So Nap, remember, in Cedric Bill's car, Cedric Bill in Peter Nap's car. So do not get confused. It is not a Gothenburg GP. It is actually a Go Team there. So they are legitimately in the same team, helping each other.
Yeah, sometimes rFactor 2 has its little quirks, doesn't it? And we've just
Indeed
got one of those there. So let's
look,
not
8
get
tenths
too...
behind Van den Hudding. He's getting close to the DRS range. Remember, 7 tenths of a second you need to be within.
Yeah, so Taras maybe starting to turn the wick up a little bit here on lap 7. Back on board with Brantham behind Perseus Miram once again. Good run from Brantham with the DRS as well. Can he try and force it the long way around? No. Again, he did have his little accident earlier here at Stowe. Going into that corner, maybe just not quite feeling as brave. Oh, that's great defending from Miram down into club corner. Just ever so slightly squeezing Brantham. But at the same time, also not sacrificing too much of his entry to the chicane as well. That is excellent racing, but Brantham gets a brilliant run coming out of the final corner. Feeling brave, maybe a lunge down into Village. No, once again, decides to hold on to that position, does the Swede. As it stands, though, it has not been a race to remember so far from the championship leader, the 23 machine. Well, just stuck in his ways at the moment. Again, got to remember that spin would have just cooked his tyres completely, and he's probably still trying to recover from that. Tyres in Formula cars, they're oh so delicate. One little spin, especially in a simulator like rFactor 2, where the tyre model is so realistic, it can just absolutely ruin your race. Just one little spin. And Brantham right now just very much sat in the toe of Miram, unable to find a way through and getting the dirty air as well as they come through Cop's corner and back into Maggots and Beckett's we go. Here's on board with one of our Go Team guys. This is Andrew Mahirasara Soa. He was involved in the incident early on, but he still managed to keep going. And that looks like, who's he fighting with there?
Yeah,
Is that
Mcintyre, isn't it?
Vicentijevic? Yeah. No, I don't think it is Vicentijevic, is it? Because it says he's down in 20.
Oh, it's Dylan Allen, sorry.
Oh, no, yeah, it is. So it is Dylan Allen. Sorry, the timing screen not quite being as up to pace as we are in the
It shows the
commentary
top
box.
20, but not the top 21. That was the issue there. There we go. But it is Dylan Allen who's legitimately holding off Andrew Marizo, who, remember, got caught up in the incident, had to pit for a new front wing. He should be so much quicker as they go down into Copse End. Plenty of space left for the Madagascan. Andrew Marizo is up into 21st. But we see some interesting comments in chat, by the way. David Yunt says, only the best rejoins. It is somewhat sarcastic. And Yassi Lattinen, teammate of Oliver Tarras, of course, other rFactor Championship, says, go get him, Tarras, is what he's saying. So he thinks Van den Hudding is going to have a bit of a problem behind him. But Van den Hudding, to his credit, 2/10 faster than Tarras on the previous lap, has got the gap back up to 1 second then. So doing a great job at holding the debutant at bay.
Absolutely. It has been a fantastic race so far. On lap 9 of 37, action everywhere throughout the field. We've had chaos, we've had drama, we've had pure FSR racing, and it is great to see here at Silverstone back on board with Micah, getting a great view of not just his front wing, but Luca Thailand in front as well. Micah does have the DRS, he's going to try to stow. You can see the warp speed. Oh, Thailand very late to the inside, side by side through Stowe. Who comes out on top? And Micah has to cut the track a little bit, has to just give way. That was great racing. Lots of respect between the pair, but very, very aggressive as well. Not pushing the envelope, just really getting the elbows out. Micah has to settle for P4 once again as they head on to the 10th lap. Micah looks like he has had enough behind the optimal car. He wants to try and find a way through. He wants to try and get up into the podium places, especially when looking at the lap times and how the tyres are going to deform over this race. We are probably not horrendously far away from the opening round of pit stops here. Could very well much be within the next 10 laps. Thailand, though, great launch there out of the loop corner. So he's going to hold off once again. It looks to me, Ed, like Thailand in this battle is really, really strong over the first half of the lap, especially through the tight and twisty section coming through Aintree in the loop. But down the bottom end of the circuit, where all the fast stuff is, your Copse, your Maggots, your Beckett's, as Brantham up to the inside of Purchase Merriam finally gets through and up into 13th place. As I was saying, though, it looks to me like Thailand is quicker over the first half of the circuit. The second half of the circuit, Micah is all over the optimal car's gearbox.
He is, yeah, and the DRS coming out of Chapel and into Stowe is definitely helping. But when he was on the outside there, as Micah just gets a wiggle on through Chapel, so that will hurt his exit ever so slightly. So the mediums, as you say, starting to grain at this phase. But I did get flashbacks to him going around the outside of Saracino and the two tangling together at the end of the opening lap. So luckily, disaster avoided as Micah thinks better of it this time. But look at Tarras, he started up his pace once more, 3/10 quicker than Van den Hudding on the previous lap, but they're all sliding into the 135s now, aren't they? So the lap times are dropping. It'll be interesting to see. The only person who's gambled is we see Peter Knapp now coming into the pits, so important stop for him from 7th position.
Yeah, so we got our first of our, top 10 anyway, coming into the pits. We're waiting to see what tyres. And Peter Knapp comes back out on, but lap 11 of 37, and Purchase Merriam in as well. Of course, it says they're teammates on your screen, but they are not, in fact, teammates. But Peter Knapp, Purchase Merriam, Cowden in as well, so a few drivers coming in. Knapp out onto the hard compound of rubber. He's trying to run long in this second stint, but he'll make it to the end, as anyone's guess. I still think that is committing to a two-stopper. We'll wait and see. Purchase Merriam also out onto the hards. We'll wait and find out what Cowden is on, but giving the two in front of him, we can presume he's going onto the harder compound of rubber as well. Again, typical Silverstone stuff there. You typically see the second stint on the hard compound, just trying to run it in, and then the third stint is whatever you can make last, essentially, if you're going on a two-stopper. It's a track that loves to eat away at tyres, and especially when you've got a track temperature of 35.5 degrees. That is warm around here, so tyres is going to be something that everyone is struggling with. Tarras did have the DRS there on Van den Hudding down into Stowe. Wasn't close enough. Micah also had the DRS on Thailand. Also wasn't close enough. We now very much have a battle for first and a battle for third on our hands. The front two have broken away from Thailand and Micah just a little bit. But if they start to truly battle, maybe that gap could close up just a little bit. Taras on that last lap was looking absolutely mighty. And if I am correct, indeed, he was faster by... or actually, should I say, the Van der Hunting was actually faster, but between the pair of them, it is oh so close. In this battle, though, Micah has been stuck behind the aggressively defending Thailand for some time. Surely, at some point, Micah is just going to go, I'm going through, and we're having an accident.
Yeah, and is that Peter Knapp making another stop as here comes Micah on the DRS down the Wellington straight into Brooklands. This time he's got the inside, but can he hold it through Brooklands as Fireland holds on? The Super Swede not going to give up that easily, holds his line, holds the inside. Micah again denied, and he's slowly being backed into Canzonieri here. This is not ideal. Micah needs to make this move as soon as possible. Is he going to force a risky move? Side by side into Cobbs. Yes, he is. Up the inside. He goes well onto the curb, but that compromises his exit. And still, Luca Fiden is there. The fly in the ointment hurting Micah here. And he's going to try and go side by side into Maggots and Beckett. Oh, my goodness me. What a majestic move from Micah there.
Oh, my word. What a move for P3. Meanwhile, here goes Taras to the inside for the lead. Oliver Taras takes the lead of the race at the back end of the 12th lap. I mean, I can't even talk about what a move from Micah that was. That was majestic. Going all the way from Brooklands down into Maggots and Becker, should I say. I believe that may have been, was that someone did, yeah, Gallon and Martis into the pits there in the background. But meanwhile, back to the front, Taras, what a move to take the lead of the race. Micah, one of the moves of this season to get up into the podium places. That was majestic. That was brave. That was brilliant to get into the podium place.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is they're all staying out so long while those are sort of beyond outside that top four battle are starting to pit and sort of bail out and try and undercut this lot. So Gallon Martis pitting especially, but even Cedric Bill as well. That's going to start to put pressure on these guys because the thing that they're trying to avoid here is being stuck behind Riboli and Boratovsky, who both started the race on hards, essentially. So that is the strategy game that's at play here. But it'll be just interesting. Keep your eyes on Bill and Galamartis Gitsov, that group's lap times, because that's really going to tell you when the right time to pit is. And look at this, Canzonieri closing in as Filan tries to fight back against Mateus Micah here, and they're trying to lap. That must be Hollistel that they're just disposing of here. It's Dylan Allen, sorry.
Yeah, trying to fight their way through some lap traffic, so already starting to cause some issues, even though we're in a lap 13 to 37, still very early doors in this race. There is your former race leader, Van der Hunting, currently well, it's outside of DRS range already, so Taras already managed to break that, coming down the back straight and into the club chicane. So Taras is doing a great... Oh, we got someone into the pits there. Was that Thailand that I just saw go in? Maybe? I know it's Micah, so Micah's dived into the pits. Okay. First of our leaders comes in. Micah, what tyres does the Hyperion driver go onto? The virtual pit crew doing their best. Looks
Mediums.
like a set of mediums. Someone else in there as well. Who's that that's just gone in?
I think it's Dylan Allen from last in the race.
Oh,
then.
that is
so
it.
He's just
so
coming
it's
in.
a bit of an issue there. Some back markers in the way. Looks like he didn't stop, so may have had a drive-through there or something along those lines. Very, very strange. But Micah, of course, that won't necessarily mean he's got dirty air, but looks like he has gone back out on the mediums for his second stint, as there we see that's Peter Knapp getting up, or getting past, should I say, for 15th place. So Hughes
no, he hasn't actually. That's Hughes ahead of him that's pulling away.
Yeah.
Cedric Bill, by the way, set fastest lap of the race, 1:33.3 on those fresh hard tyres, but crucially, he's come out just behind Micah, so this has worked really, really well for Hyperion. Only problem is, about 6 seconds up the road is Boratovsky and Riboli on those hard tyres that are severely worn. They've done 14 laps at this point as Brandholm once again stuck behind Miram, but not for much longer, up the inside at the Wellington Straight with the DRS he comes.
That's got to be frustrating, but sweet for the Swede, nonetheless, being stuck behind Miram for so long. The championship leader desperately needed to move forward after a very disappointing qualifying session for himself. Now he's up into P12. Now he's got some clean air in front of him and he can just get on with it. But the pit window is now open. Those tyres aren't going to last much longer. So Daniel Brandholm, he's going to be frustrated. Just needs to get his head in the right place and continue for the rest of this race and see what he can do. He's got his teammate Chris Gitsov in front of him, but nearly 10 seconds up the road is Gitsov from Brandholm. So very disappointing there for the championship leader. Meanwhile, the battle for third place now. Mcintyre has started to close in on Thailand, who I think may be running out of tyres as Van der Hudding and Towers start meeting traffic. That hurt Van der Hudding that time a little bit more. He should have the DRS here. And in fact, no, he won't. He's outside of DRS range. It looked like he was for just a quick second. As we got some more drivers into the pits. That's Grishig, Luchak, Micah in behind as well.
Micah again. Did Micah speed in the pit lane? That might be why we saw Nap making coming into the pits twice as well. But if he has sped in the pit lane,
it looked like he just stopped there, maybe.
Yeah, that's very bizarre from Micah. So this is very, very costly for Hyperion then, because that's put them down into 16th place behind Domenico Scarpelli then. So that really takes the pressure off the leaders. Obviously, Scarpelli really struggling for traction in the third optimal, because I think Taras, Van den Hudding, Phylan, Mcintyre might all be going for the one stop, going from mediums to hards. We see Riboli and Borotowski doing the opposite, going longer on the hards and then pitting maybe for the mediums at the end.
Well, this is bizarre. I mean, I'm looking at the live timing now, and it said that Micah hasn't changed tyres. So I'm wondering maybe if there's a problem. If it was either a drive-through or maybe there's a problem trying to get onto some fresh rubber for him. Oh, goodness me. Someone there with connection
Thailand
issues.
in trouble there.
Yeah, that was Thailand, was it not? That had a bit of a moment. Van der Hudding's just come into the pits. Yeah, very interesting lines coming through Club Chicane there. Van der Hudding boxes. Oh, Thailand's gone.
Oh,
Thailand
that's gutting.
Out of the race, disconnection. I do not believe it. One of our leaders. We've got another one of our leaders out of the race on lap 16 and 37. Oh my goodness me. Silverstone continues to throw up chaos.
That is cruel as well. It's never nice to see someone disconnected, especially when running in the top three. Phylan has only got one podium to his name in his rookie season in FSR Academy. How dearly he would have liked another. So Optimal, pretty much all their hopes now rest with Taras, as we see Bill having made his stop, passing Borotowski. So Bill has cleared one of the drivers that started on the hards. Now Van den Hudding, who of course is picked from leading, has been undercut by Bill. He's going to be on fresher hards. He makes his way through. No resistance there from Andrei Borotowski.
Yeah, nice and easy there. As we go on board with Gallen and Martis, we've got Borotowski and Van der Hudding ahead, of course. Let's see what great driver can do heading through Copse Corner. Oh, nice and simple, straight ahead. Oh, what a shame that is for Lucas Thailand as well. Unfortunately, just disconnecting. That is cruel, but that is racing sometimes. You've got to roll with the punches. I'm sure he'll be back next time.
Oh, Taras pits from the lead.
Oh,
he's
yeah,
trying
indeed.
to respond to Van den Hudding.
Yeah, so race leader in. Mcintyre as well. So the front two pit, as we see, Gallen and Martis not quite close enough to take any action on that occasion. Let's see what ties Paris onto the hards then. What does Mcintyre go on to? We'll find out in a moment, I'm sure. But Taras going long in this stint. Riboli is going to take the lead of the race. And Bill will get into P3 as well. And, wow, look at that from Gallen and Martis up the inside at Abbey. That is a very, very fierce move there to get up into P5. Great stuff from him. Taras in P3, meanwhile. Riboli leads from Bill in P2. Bill managed to slide through Taras as well. Van der Hudding now third. The front four all on the hard compounder tyres.
Yeah, so crucially, Taras maintaining track position, and he's got slightly fresher tyres than Van den Hudding. So really, this fight, Bill, Taras, Van den Hudding, is actually for the overall lead here. And Bill, of course, is trying to get as many points in this championship as he can, with Brownform down in 10th. Let's not forget, Riboli, he is still yet to make his first stop then, so he's going to be closed in gradually unless these three start fighting each other. As we see a few more pit stops going on near the rear of the field. Demolians in the other Optiminal. There seem to be 4 car Optiminals that started the race, only 3 in it. Now, of course, with Oliver Taras now, he's sort of in the box seats here. If he can keep Van den Hudding at bay, he might be able, once Bill's tyres start to wear off, he might be able to mount a challenge here. But this is a really, really interesting wrinkle, Bill doing that early undercut.
Yeah, Bill has maybe pulled something out of his back pocket that I don't think anyone else really expected to see with that undercut. So we'll have to keep a firm eye on Cedric Bill over the rest of the race as Borotowski to the inside of Chris Gitsov. Gitsov able to hold it around the outside and just about able to hold on to P6 as Boratowski struggles to get the rubber to connect to the road and get the traction out of club corner. But that was a good attempt nonetheless on the Valley eSports driver in front. On board once again, meanwhile, with Ruben van der Hudding chasing down Oliver Taras. Of course, this is essentially for the net lead of the race if we ignore Cedric Bill and Riboli in front. So we've yet to really see what their strategy is playing out to be. But top four, all very, very close together indeed. Couldn't really fit a cigarette paper between any of them. It is so, so tight up the front. On board with the Go team of Bill, now leading the charge for them after Saracino's early woes. And can he be leading the race as well as we head into Cobb's corner? He had a thought, he thought about it, had a little bit of a look to the inside, but just decided against it. Maybe happy just to follow Riboli through Maggots and Beckett's, try and get the DRS down the back stretch and see what he can do coming through Hangar. Out of Chapel we go. Looks to be a very good exit for Cedric Bill, and he will have DRS as well. And look at the warp speed, look at the rocket ship that is that Go team car. Bill goes to the lead, and that is as easy as they come, and that is smart racing from your now race leader Cedric Bill, as Riboli continues to come under pressure from Taras behind. These front four, nothing to separate them.
Yeah, Riboli is lapping in the 1:35.8s and Boratowski in the 1:37.7s, whereas the leaders are in the 1:34s, high 1:34s. Essentially, as Van den Hudding sees an opportunity, Taras delayed by Riboli, his teammate, so this could play to their advantage at Valet, as Taras is sort of Malcolm in the middle here, essentially. He's got nowhere to go with these valets either side of him, but he gets a much better exit here. Riboli's tyres are just absolutely gone, and Bill is waltzing off into the sunset at the moment. Here they come then. There could be a double move here for Van den Hudding. He tries almost to think about going free wide into Brooklands, and there we go. Riboli, his race is not really with these two on the one stop that him and Boratowski have no doubt committed themselves to at this phase, having stayed out so long on the hard tyre. But there we go. So our top three, that's our legitimate top three then. But look, Bill crucially breaking out of DRS range.
Yeah, that's great stuff for Bill there as well. They've also got a mind about their tyres. They don't want to destroy them too early on into the stint. Although it says on your screen that the track temperature has dropped to just under 29 degrees. It has in fact gone up. It's 36 degrees. I'm not entirely sure what that's displaying wrong. But yeah, so it's very, very warm out on track at the moment. So you really don't want to destroy your tyres early doors in this race. On board then with Purges Miram as he's making his way, following round the likes of Micah and Peter Knapp and Brandthorne. Back on board with Van der Hudding now. Can he try and have a look on Oliver Taras? Bill, once again, he is still maintaining that break. He's outside of DRS range of Taras. Van der Hudding, though, is there, but of course we do have to wait for the DRS coming down the Hangar straight. So some time to go. He's just going to sit there and wait for the move into Stowe Corner, but maybe he can get it done before, because Van der Hudding looking very, very quick at the moment. The Valet eSports cars in general, they've looked very, very fast, very, very planted in this race. The setup just looks super, super stable. The car goes where you point it. And that being said, though, Riboli may be under pressure, not even under pressure anymore, losing out on the place to Gallan Amatis, who gets a great run out of the loop. That is, well, it was done about halfway down the straight, as there we see Canzanieri, and I believe that's Chris Gitsov having a ding-dong. Canzanieri into P6 he goes. Great stuff for him, leading the Team GG charge there. But back to the front on board with Oliver Taras, back inside DRS range of the race leader. But also behind him, Van der Hudding, if he stays there, will get double DRS as well through Maggots. Beckett's great camera angle there. You can really see the strong direction change of the car, and now onto the DRS state. Does Taras get the DRS? Yes, he does. So does Van der Hudding, though. Is anybody going to make a move on this occasion? I do not think anyone is close enough this time. But these top three all locked into each other. There's Luchak getting his way through Chris Gutsov as well, who's gone really backwards over this last few laps. A real shame for the Bulgarian. Let's see if he can try and fight his way forward again. As I said, and who was that diving into the pits up the front there as well? That looks to be Riboli making his first stop.
Yeah, finally then. So on lap 21 of 37, so he's surely going to try and stretch out a pair of mediums to the end here. And indeed, that's exactly what he's doing. I think Boratowski is now the only driver yet to pit whatsoever, but his lap times are And in fact, he's coming in now as well because he's in the high 136s as well. So, but you have to echo what you've been saying about Taras. Very, very impressive job now. It looks like Bill, who is on 9-lap old tyres, so that 5-lap difference essentially between Bill's tyres and Taras's tyres here. And only 1-lap difference between Van den Hudding's. As there we go, Riboli emerges right behind Perseus Miram then, and just in front of Mateus Micah as well. So more misery for Micah. Not only has he been stuck behind Peter Knapp, but now he's got Riboli and Miram in between them as well. So it's just not working out for him whatsoever then, and that's really the story of his championship. Amazing pace, but bad luck really causing massive setbacks for him.
Yeah, real shame there for Micah, but he's going to just keep trying to push over the remainder of this race. We're on lap 21 of 37, over halfway through now, and it has just flown by. What a race we've had here at Silverstone in the Academy Series. Of course, when this is done and dusted, still 2 more races to come your way from FSR. Of course, we have the Pro Championship and then the World Championship as well to look forward to. And I've got a replay here. This is Boratovsky. What's happened to him as he was making
So this is just coming out the pits then, I believe.
Yeah, it is. Oh, he's just pulled over. Oh, very bizarre. So problem for Boratovsky, and then retiring from the race. So he came out of the pits, and then I'm not sure if there was a mechanical issue or an issue with his sim rig or what, but Boratovsky looks to be our 5th retirement from the race. That is bizarre. We'll have to see if we can get an update from him later on or something along those lines. But very, very bizarre retirement there for Boratovsky, and a real shame for him as well. But of course, we race on up the front. Van der Hudding, Taras and Bill now very, very close. Taras has turned the wick up. Van der Hudding has done the same as well. And as they head through Brooklands and Lutfield, nothing to separate the 3 of them. This is really, really close. This time with the DRS down the hangar straight, Ed, this could be interesting.
Yeah, I wonder how hard Cedric Bill will fight here. A couple of comments earlier from the valet team, Sergio Fletcher saying, Riboli's leading, mum get the camera, and Remco Deseo from Optiminal says, I hope your mum had the camera ready because that didn't last long because staying out on the 1-stop. But yeah, Cedric Bill then, those tyres being a bit older, of course the hards, they're the most durable compound. I don't think Cedric Bill having pit after 10 laps is really going to be able to stretch this into the 1-stop. I think him and these others behind him have committed to the 2-stop, but the problem is that Taras and Van der Hudding have got fresher tyres, so as long as they don't fight too hard and just wear them down during this stint, then they should theoretically have the advantage. But Taras, of course, as we said, he's got the hardest job because he's trying to attack whilst also defending from Van den Hudding, who has been just assaulting him relentlessly throughout this stint, essentially, while he's been stuck behind Bill. So if Bill wasn't there, you'd sense Taras might be able to get away, but that's not an option at the moment. He's got to make the move before he can do that.
He does indeed. Anybody's guess as to what is going to happen over the remainder of this race as we're starting to tick towards the latter stages. Of course, still 1 pit stop due, definitely anyway, for the likes of Taras and Van der Hudding, and for Bill as well, should I say. It could be very, very interesting to see how it's all going to unfold with the final stints all a little bit sideways there from Van der Hudding in the Valet eSports car. Just maybe got the balance a bit unsettled coming into Lutfield, and the back end just stepping out, managed to hold it well, but that of course is always going to cost him time. Look at Taras there, the optimal car just moving about underneath him coming through Cop's corner. That thing is really on the limit as we look back from the race leader, and look how close Taras is here now. A good exit through Chapel, but a bit overcommitted through the corner before, and that has cost him. But with the DRS, is this the move that decides the race? Bill goes defensive, but it's not enough. Taras takes the lead of the race on lap 23 of 37. Van der Hudding isn't able to make a move as well. Bill cannot respond, and it's Optimal Esports to the lead on lap 23, soon to be lap 24 of 37. Lovely stuff there from Taras. He was waiting for that move. He was patient and then executed it with authority and dignity. Great stuff to take the lead, and look at the visual gap already. He's trying to bolt into the distance.
Yeah, Taras was clearly using a lot of electrical energy from the ERS, so the powertrain there, to try and use that battery to pull ahead there, and luckily he did. Didn't look like Bill defended too much on the outside then, so I think he knows on those older tyres he can only hold on for so long. But Van den Hudding, again, he's getting closer as we see Peter Knapp coming into the pits, and a yellow flag ahead. That means that Van den Hudding cannot try and make a move into Brooklands or Luffield because there was a car that clearly gone off ahead of them, but it seems to have rejoined. There it is. In fact, that's one of the LR cars, isn't it? It must be Dylan Allen, I would assume. A lap down, or 2 laps down now, I should say. But there we go. They're having to lap all of these LR cars once again, and that is really going to be another hazard for Taras, Bill, and Van den Hudding to avoid tripping over. But yeah, for Oliver Taras, this is really working out well now. And Optiminal, who have yet to win a race, this is still their first season in FSR Academies. We see another of the LR cars, I think, going off there at Maggots and Beggars just to let the leaders through, essentially. And yeah, now Van den Hudding uses the DRS and he's going to try and make a move into Stowe. Will Bill defend? No, he leaves plenty of space on the inside. Too many people have collided there. And he very sensibly slots into third then. So now Van den Hudding free to chase after Taras.
He is, but he's got to get back within inside the DRS range. They've finally broken free of Bill in, well, he was in P1, now he's down in P3. Taras and Van den Hudding slide through. On board with the former frontrunner in this race before that penalty earlier on. Micah for Hyperion, currently down in P11. Oh no! What on earth has just happened?
He braked on the grass there. That was what happened.
Spins and potentially out of the race. Can he get it
going
again?
I think the rear tire might be off there. Look, it's all askew.
Oh my goodness me. I'm lost for words. Mike, he may have just locked a rear or something coming in, but the corner just spat him out in the braking zone. Let's go on board. That must have been a rear tyre locking or something along those lines.
I think he just hit the grass going into Stowe, Ross. Look at this. He goes right to the outside and just a little bit too close.
Yeah, he did. You're right, Ed. You're right. Oh, a simple mistake, yet one that has such grave consequences for a man who at one point was well within contention for winning this race. Matheus Micah down and out on lap 25 after, well, what has just been, well, 10 or so laps of just heartbreak and disappointment. And he joins our list of retirements. Oh my goodness me. Heartbreaking for him. But it just goes to show how hard these guys are pushing. You know, even in the Academy Series, the bottom rung of the FSR ladder, it just shows the competitiveness and the will to win when you're willing to push everything, go right to the limit. And in the case of Matheus Micah, even over it in this occasion. What a shame for him. Lap 26 to 37. Another retirement there from a former frontrunner. Up the front, though, Taras and Van den Hudding from Bill is your top 3.
Yeah, and that makes it Matheus Micah's 3rd retirement this season. Crashed out in Bahrain, blew up the engine from pole position in Singapore, and then crashed out again at Silverstone. So that continues his record. He either finishes 2nd or he doesn't finish at all, which is, unfortunately, makes it very, very difficult to win this championship. As Luxak makes his 2nd stop, so he's favouring the soft tyres once again. He's done 11 laps on them before, and let's see if that's enough to get to the end there as he comes out just ahead of Josh Hughes, who has had a quietly impressive race for SimSpark. He's stayed out of trouble on the hards, hasn't he? And he's just inside the top 10 now, so SimSpark yet to finish in the top 10 this season, and Josh Hughes, who used to drive, of course, for XRL eSports in endurance racing in rFactor 2, applying himself well to single-seaters, and currently outpacing Peter Knapp and Perseus Miram.
Absolutely. Peter Knapp, Perseus Miram, they've been doing a great job. As it stands, had a good race, but Hughes doing a great job up there. Cownan as well behind them. As we're on board with Hughes for SimSpark, currently in P10, chasing down Luchak in front on the soft tyres. Should easily be able to make it to the end of this race, even with the track temperature creeping up since the start. Of course, the cars, they're now lighter. They've burnt through a lot of fuel. Of course, no, we're getting really technical. I'm not sure rFactor 2 simulates this, but you've got to take into account the weight loss of the driver from sweat as well. Don't think rFactor 2 simulates that, though. But what we are seeing simulated is a great move from Luchak on Raboli for P8 with the DRS. Soft tyres working wonder for the Go Team driver. And he's up into P8. Great stuff from him. 10 laps now to go, or shortly to be 10 laps to go, should I say. Here's a replay. I believe that's just off the move we just saw. No, it's not. This is actually Josh Hughes here in P12. Let's see what happened to him. So he's moved up. So, actually, he's moved down, should I say. Oh, hard into the wall. So Josh Hughes in the background of what we were just seeing. Is he down and out? Yeah, looks like the rear tyre's off the car. Josh Hughes from just behind what we were just seeing, down and out of the race. That is devastating for the SimSpark driver. once again, Silverstone is, well, catching people out here in the FSR Academy series.
Yeah, and literally just after I praised the job that Josh Hughes was doing, the very same lap, he bins it, getting too far on the curb at Chapel. Wheels spun around, and he was a passenger from that point forward into the wall. This, of course, promotes Mcintyre into the final point position, points paying position in 15th, of course. But yeah, big shame for SimSpark. They really needed those points. And Josh Hughes, not the best end to his debut, but on the other side of the coin, Taras having a wonderful debut, 1.7 seconds ahead of Van Hudding in the lead now as we look at Riboli having been overtaken by Luxak, and that was really a visual illustration difference between the two strategies, the two-stop and the one-stop, as now we see Bill coming in for his final stop of the race. Surely he's going for soft tyres here, Russ.
Yeah, you'd be very surprised if he doesn't. We'll wait and see what he's going on to. Looks like the hards. I'm not sure if I agree with that one.
No, it's updated. It's the softs on race view, and that's Gatlamatis doing likewise just ahead of him there, just about to stop in his box. And there we go, he crawls to a halt. Luxak sets a purple middle sector on his soft tyres, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out relative to Bill. Should be just behind.
Actually, looks like Bill's got a little bit of a gap to Gatlamatis and Luchak behind, as Luchak's actually just got through Gatlamatis as well. So Bill in P5, he is on the soft tyres, despite what you see on your picture. That will update itself shortly as Van der Hudding makes his way through some lap traffic. Taras and Van der Hudding, now you're thinking, they should be able to make it to the end. Do they want to, though? Of course, they've not got a free pit stop over the likes of Canzoniere and Gitzoff behind. Bill, they do have a free pit stop over, but again, he's on the soft tyres. Oh, this could be very, very interesting. Could be very, very close, as Van der Hudding having to hustle the car through Chapel there. You can see really wasn't very happy with the pace he was taking through there. Got more pit stops further back as well. That's Andrea Mahosara coming in, the Madagascan driver. That will be his final stop of the race from P13. Van Hudding, just in the background as well there, we've got some lap cars coming in. Believe that may have been De La Cruz, if not Vicentievich. We'll wait and see what it comes up with on the screen. No, it was in fact Vicentievich who's just come in for the box. So he'll be in for a set of softs as well, but we wait and see what these guys up the front are doing.
Van Hudding's upped his pace. 133.7, 134.4 for Taras then. So that is interesting. But the fastest people on track are those who've just switched to the softs, unsurprisingly. Luxak sets a 132.3, but it's Brandfom who sets a purple first sector. He's also pitted for the softs, right, with 10, 11 laps to go. So Brandfom is going to be on a charge, along with Gatlamatis, Luxak and Bill then in this final stint.
Absolutely, it's all going to be very, very close indeed come the checkered flag. It is anybody's guess as to who's going to be on top. Is the one stopper the way to go? And if it is, well, Taras and Van der Hudding, where are they going to be? Is the two stopper onto the softs? Oh, is that someone very wide? Oh, no, lap traffic, never mind.
That's
got a bit too
letting
excited there.
Riboli through there, yeah.
Yeah, I got very excited. I saw a car running off the road and got a bit excited. But Riboli just making his way through some lapped traffic. Currently running P8 in a bit of no man's land is Riboli, but with his teammate Brantham behind him on softs. We'll see how that goes. Maybe some team orders could be coming into play there, especially with the drivers in front on softs as well. Bill, Luchak, Gatlamatis, all on soft tyres. Riboli, well, we'll have to wait and see what the pace of the softs is. We know it's fast, but is it fast enough given the time that we have left here as Van der Hudding once again in this fight for the lead? Just over 7/10 of a second separating them at the moment. So outside of DRS range, but of course we only have DRS down the back hangar straight. It was so cool because there literally used to be an aircraft carrier right in the middle of where that was back when this was an airfield in World War II. And it is, well, here's a fun fact for you. Silverstone is technically still an airport because there's a helipad. And on the day of the British Grand Prix in Formula 1, it's the busiest airport in the world. So there you go. That's a fun fact for you if you didn't know that one. But Cedric Bill, meanwhile, he's a rather busy driver because he's got Chris Gitzoff in front on the hards. He's on a fresh set of softs. What can Bill do? Oh, look at the difference in braking performance between the two of them. That is unreal. The Go Team car on the fresh set of softs is so fast. Of course, Bill, we know the boy can pedal as well. And, well, don't even need to say anything. That is as easy as they come.
Yeah, there was no real point for Gitzoff. He didn't have the DRS. He had nothing really to fight with there. But this is great for Bill because he's well in the pit window of Taras in the lead. And Taras looks like he's starting to struggle with tyre wear late in the race compared to Van den Hudding. So This is the difficult part. Taras can't really pit now because he definitely lose the lead, and Bill would probably be able to nurse the softs to the end without being overtaken, but it's sort of 50-50 at this point. So Taras, Van den Huding, Canzonieri have all got to commit to their strategy of staying out on the hards, even though their times are going to be so much slower than Bill, who's lapping in the 32.4s at the moment, whereas the leaders 134.1, 133.8 for Taras and Van den Huding respectively, and Canzonieri in the 35. So I think Giuseppe Canzonieri is almost certainly going to be caught by Bill before the end. 9.9 seconds the current gap. But anyway, like 31 of 37, and Van den Huding continues to get himself closer and closer to DRS range, but Taras just, I think, had enough of a gap there to avoid being caught in the detection zone by Van den Huding. Bill, meanwhile, sets a 32.9, so again, nearly 2 seconds a lap closed on Giuseppe Canzonieri.
Yeah, very close between those guys. But, you know, again, looking at the time we got left, even should I say, 6 laps to go. Is it the one for Bill? Has he got enough pace to get back onto the podium? I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to wait and see. He's going to have to put in some monster laps over the remainder of this race. On board with Gracheg Luchak, meanwhile. He's on the back of Chris Gitsov. Again, Luchak on the soft compound of rubber as well. Gitsov is not, and Gitsov desperately fighting to hold on to that P5. Luchak plays it smart though. Decides not to waste rubber, risk an accident coming into Cops. He'll hold on to P6, but he will get the DRS as well down the back straight. And I'm sure, I feel like this move, to be brutally honest, Ed, is pretty much done and dusted already.
But don't forget Gallimartis. Oh, look at that wiggle for Gitsov. He's struggling on those hard. So all the valet drivers, apart from Van den Huding, really starting to struggle. And that's why they have to make extra stops. But there, through with the DRS goes Luxak, who, remember, undercut Gallimartis as well. Because Gallimartis was holding on to that fifth fairly comfortably. And now he's sort of lost it in the pits because of some good strategy here by Go Team. But Luxak then backing up his teammate Bill. So this is looking good for Go Team, at least in the teams table, of course, though. Bill driving for Gothenburg GP, so it's really Knapp that will be the second scorer in that team specifically. But yeah, Cedric Bill looking very good, potentially to take the championship lead, depending on how much progress Brandfarm, who's 10 points ahead of him in the lead of the championship at the moment, can make through the top 10 here. But Brandfarm is about 2 seconds behind his teammate Ruboli, who I imagine won't fight him too hard. But yeah, Taras still holding on to what would be an amazing first victory by 1.7 seconds, so mistake from Van den Huding then in the closing stages.
Yeah, big shame for Van den Huding there. Let's see if we can close back in, as that's Gallimartis making his way through Gitsov nice and easy down into Brooklands. Brantham, though, looking at him at the moment, you know, even though he's on the softs, he's got his teammates ahead of him. I'm not sure he's going to have time to catch Gitsov, but I'm sure Ruboli will, how we say, make it easy for him. But yeah, for the championship leader coming into this race, I think he's going to be quite disappointed with this one. It's not been a particularly strong race from him, a very disappointing qualifying. The race just hasn't quite gone his way either for the Swede. So yeah, I'm sure that Danov will be looking to improve heading into the remaining rounds of the season, especially given this is the halfway point. He was championship leader coming in. As it stands, I'm not entirely sure he's going to be championship leader coming out. I'll have to check my maths on that one, which is never my strong point. But
if I'm not mistaken, I think Andrium Harizoa, who is he switched to the soft tyre and he's been able to get ahead of Van den Huding and unlap himself. So that is helping Taras here.
It is indeed. We've got a replay of something here.
Well,
as you say
anymore.
Commentators curse much, Ed. As you say that, the Madagascan out of the race, beached in the gravel at the outside of the final corner. Real shame there, Andrea Maharasoa. But he did unlap himself for a brief moment. But unfortunately, out of the race, just gets
enough
it
to
wrong
annoy Van den Huding, not enough to make a huge difference, I imagine.
That is a real shame. There we go. Ruboli lets Brantham through as we expected. Nice and easy. Bit of team orders there for Valet eSports. That's Brantham up into P8. Got another replay here. What's happened here? Is this maybe Andrea Maharasoa? Oh no, this is Demoliens.
Lost a wheel.
Oh yeah, yeah. As you can see, 3 wheels on the wagon there. That's well, this isn't a tripod.
I think he's lost at the final corner, Ross, and just crashed into the pit wall.
Yeah, maybe, just hit the inside wall. That's the only thing I could maybe think of. I mean, he's tried to keep it going. I think he might still be in the race. If he can get it back to the pits and repair it, then of course he's got all right to keep going. But, you know, ideally, you don't really want to be missing a wheel. That doesn't help. So, Molliet missing the front right there. Let's hope he can make it back and continue the race. In fact, as I said, he has actually just retired. It's a real shame for him. Then there were 7, or then there were 16 even, should I say. We lost drivers like there was no tomorrow at the start, and now in the closing stages, they're dropping like flies as well. But still going here. And I tell you what, actually here, Ed, Cedric Bill, he's only about 2 seconds off of Canzonieri here with a handful of laps to go. Maybe the hard to soft 2-stopper gamble could have brought him up for a podium place here.
It could well do. Remember, 18 points for finishing third. At the moment, I think Brandfom, if Gitsov lets him through, is on track for P7, so it'd be 18 versus 9 points. I think he'd be only a point behind the championship lead if I've worked it out right. But we're about to see a replay of something or other now. But yeah, as you say, Bill making good progress, and it looks like this is the end of Dylan Allen's race as he just gone a bit wide into Chapel. Oh, he's done exactly what we saw Josh Hughes do, and in fact, even more spectacularly, because half that car is missing now on that West Social Club LR machine.
Just goes to show, again, a slight little mistake, run ever so slightly wide, catch the grass, and it all comes to a real shame there for Dylan Allen. Then there were 15. Yeah, we've lost quite a few drivers this race.
Well, everyone will score points now. Who's still in the race.
Yeah, no, that's it. Everyone who finishes this race gets a point, at least. So that's a start for them lot. But yeah, we've lost a lot of drivers in this race. Silverstone, as always, providing a bit of chaos and a bit of drama. But for, you know, it just shows how tricky it is around here. It just goes to show Silverstone, it's a circuit that is deceptively easy on paper. It's very wide, it's got lots of fast-flowing corners, but lots of runoff and lots of curbs as well. But one little mistake and you can very easily find yourself on a one-way trip into the barrier and to the virtual infield hospital as well, if it's a big enough one. On board with Cedric Bill then, on lap 35 and 37, and look how close he is to Canzonieri. I believe, Ed, that 2-stopper gamble onto the softs has paid absolute dividends for him. He is, well, being quite frank, moments away from getting back onto the podium place. What a strategy, and what a drive as well from Bill. It's been phenomenal stuff there from the Frenchman. And again, if our math serves us correctly, that puts him, if they finish as they do, 1 point behind the championship leader, Danov Brantham. Great stuff from him. Up to the inside of Cops. Ooh, I was going to say, that's a bit brave there from Bill, but it's still been a great drive nonetheless. And I feel like at this point, Ed, it's a matter of not if, but when he gets up into the podium places.
Yeah, Canzonieri, he's given it a good go, hasn't he? But once more, he's going to fall just that little bit short. The hard tyres are just dying at this phase. And Bill, he's been able to keep the softs just about in play here. You saw he almost couldn't slow down quickly enough into Cops. Here we go, using the DRS into Stowe, but from a long way back again. He will have to position himself for the exit into Club, I think. But yeah, Brandfom yet to get past Gitsov, so this is technically, if he can get through here, it would put him a point in the lead, I believe, of the championship. But we'll have to see if there's a bit of switching between the valet drivers to benefit or limit the damage for Dano Brandfom. But Cedric Bill, as you say, the real dark horse in that championship, that Frenchman. We don't talk about him much this season because he's not often right up with the front runners at the beginning of the race, but by the end, he always seems to sneak into the points. And here we go, round the outside into Village and the loop. Is he going to be given enough space by Canzonieri? The Italian does indeed back out. There we go. And it's Bill back onto the podium.
Lovely, lovely move there by Bill. Canzonieri tried to defend, but ultimately he
will get DRS here.
Defeat. He will have the DRS, but it's yeah, unfortunately for Canzonieri in that instance, just as much as he tried, ultimately came to naught. On board with Galen Lamartis, who's chasing down Luchak. Here's Brantham, Gitsov. Looks like he isn't actually letting him through, but Brantham with the DR. Oh, goodness me, he had the slipstream. He's got the inside line. Oh, is there going to be contact between teammates? What is going on? Brantham surely on the team radio going, can we get Chris out of the way? Come on, I'm the championship leader. Surely I deserve the points. But somehow, Chris Gitsov, the Bulgarian, is just not letting him through. Unbelievable stuff. And Chris Gitsov, who has only had 1 point finish so far this season, is desperate to hold on to that P7. Brantham really needs to get through for his championship hopes after what's been a disappointing race. He'll have the DRS here now, so it should be quite easy. Indeed it is, but that's going to be one unhappy Swedish driver under that virtual helmet, because Gitsov did not make it easy there for his teammate.
Well, Gitsov, I think, fighting for himself rather than the team there. But yeah, as you're right, his best finish this season, 12th, so 8th would still be a base finish. But I guess Brandtholm, 9 seconds to make up to Gallimatis. It wasn't likely he was going to get into that 5th place battle. But yeah, Gallimatis, remember, has got 2 lap pressure tires, and Luxak, who maybe has pushed the softs with that undercut just a little bit too far. Final lap, there's an opportunity for Gallimatis to sneak 5th place away from him.
Absolutely. Great stuff from him. But it's anybody's guess as to how it's all going to unfold. Final lap of the race, and it is so close here.
Gallimatis can't be far from the line at this point.
No, he can't exactly, but Gallimatis still fighting with Luchak. It could be over and done up the front. 5 seconds between Van der Hutting and Taras. Gallimatis giving it a go though to the outside. Backs off into Cop's corner. But I believe Taras is coming to the line now. It's surely nearly done and dusted.
Yeah, Gallimatis is going to try and set the move up into Stowe. But here comes Oliver Taras. The Brit's going to win at home, and it's the first win for Optimal. Big moment, Ross.
It is indeed. 1 turn to go through Oliver Taras. It's been a great drive. It's been a great race. It's a great win for Oliver Taras and Optimal eSports. Fantastic stuff there from him to win at Silverstone. Hutting finishes in P2. Bill with a great strategy gets into P3. Not over yet, though. Canzonieri takes 4th. Who gets to 5th? Luchak or Gallimatis? It will be Luchak, who holds on to 5th place. Gallimatis can only manage 6th. Danov Brandtholm, he'll take 2nd, with Gitsov on 8th and Raboli in P9. So Brandtholm does just hold on to that championship lead, with Peter Knapp looking to round out the top 10. As Taras gets some well-deserved donuts there. What a race he is at. What a drive. Just brilliant stuff from him. And, well, that's one way to put your name on the map, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. And Taras really marking himself out as one to watch as we look at Perseus Miram. And there he's going to cross the line in 11th position then, ahead of Hayden Cownan, who switched from SimSpark, I believe, to the Full Send Motorsport team. So good to see Hayden after a difficult start to the race. He's going to get some points under his belt, which is definitely going to build his confidence a little bit. But yeah, in terms of confidence, Taras's will be sky high, because we knew how good a driver he was, GPV and other championships. But it's great to see him really prove that today, Ross. And Van den Hutting in the end didn't have an answer.
No, he did not. What a race we have just seen on FSR debut. Oliver Taras takes a phenomenal win, with Van der Hutting in P2. Cedric Bill with that great strategy rounds out the podium. Canzonieri was 4th, with Greg Luchak in 5th, and Kostas Gallimatis in P6 for Netrex. Danov Brandtholm manages to get to P7. A disappointing race for him, but he will maintain that championship lead, with Chris Gitsov in 8th, Massimiliano Romoli in P9, and Peter Knapp, he holds on for P10 at the end. P11 was Perseus Miram, with Hayden Cownan in P12. Domenico Scarpelli was 13th, with Vicente Jevic in 14th. And the last of our finishes, and the last of our point scorers as well, Michael De La Cruz, he was P15. Unfortunately, we lost a whole host of drivers here. Thomas Andre Mahirasoa, after a great move, he DNF'd alongside Dylan Allen, Oliver de Millens, Josh Hughes, and Micah as well. One of the big names early on in the race. We also lost Arko Hollisteller, Andrei Borotovsky, Lucas Thylin, Lucas Viscott, Nandor Massa, Terry Crawford, and pole sitter Giuseppe Saracino early doors as well. Some big names coming away with absolutely nothing in that race. But my Ed, what a race we have just seen in the FSR Academy Series. Of course, we'll be back in a few weeks' time heading to San Marino, but the racing action in FSR is not done quite yet at Silverstone.
No, we still got the pro race to come, of course, with Sergio Fletcher, our championship leader, looking to make it 3 wins in a row. But a lot of very strong challenges, including Patrick Sevet, who, of course, was leading the championship before Singapore, looking to take it back. But yeah, looking ahead for Academy on 12th of May at San Marino. Taras, of course, has got that first win under his belt. But it's Cedric Bill, Dano Brandtholm right at the head of the standings, and I believe Peter Knapp, who finished 10th today, is still going to be third then ahead of Canzonieri. So I think we're slowly turning into a 3-horse race in this championship. And Cedric Bill, the real wild card, but Brownfarm holds on by the skin of his teeth after a pretty tricky day of him being spun around at Stowe by Viscott, who I assume is not going to be on his Christmas cards list.
No, maybe not. But man, oh man, what a race we have just seen there. Absolutely phenomenal action all throughout and great racing. And of course, it sets up a pair of races to come later on today. But that's not it for FSR Academy. Of course, despite being the halfway point in the season, we've got the San Marino race next, of course, at Imola. Going to the Istanbul Park for round 7 in Turkey, Spa-Francorchamps for round 8, then round 9 over to the United States, and finishing off in Japan at Suzuka. So a very exciting back half of the season to look forward to, and Ed, a very close championship fight on our hands as well.
Yep, but I have to say thank you very much for commentating on it with me, Ross. Thanks very much to the viewers for watching, and just a shout out to our other FSR commentator, Jess Ball, who's under the weather today. So get well soon, Jess. I know you've been really trying to save your throat for the commentaries that you want to do. So let's hope that Jess is back to full health soon. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Sam Reed. Looking forward to the rest of Pro and World Championship as well, because I'm sure we're going to see some excellent showings there. Maybe a few more surprise new winners. You never know. But yeah, so down at Brownfarm still leads the championship, but it's Oliver Taras that takes victory here at home in Silverstone, the first victory for Optimal eSports. So Remco Desir, I'm sure, is going to be very, very proud indeed. But that's all from us. So thank you very much for watching, and tune in a few minutes' time for round 5 of the Pro Champ.
Hello, I'm Jack Nichols, and welcome to
Who's going to break Naismith's world title?
And these two go. He's going to do it. His first victory.
The World Championship is done.
What a race it's been.